Welcome to Musitations, sound healing and sound wisdom for a world in need. On Musitations, we explore all things musical, meditative, and creative for healing, transformation, and awakening the relationship between nature, culture, and the soul. I'm Michael Branty Maria, and I'm your host and guide on this journey on the edge of a new millennium. I bring my 30 plus years of experience as an integrative wellness guide, best-selling author, meditation, yoga, mindfulness teacher, and a 4-time Grammy-nominated musician. Join me now on this adventure of awakening the soul. Welcome to Musitations. So today is the birthday of one of my dear soul friends and brothers. His name was Hugh Carter, and he was a very, very dear friend of mine. And my goodness, he's transitioned 2007, so that's 13 years ago now. And always loved to honor him on his birthday. And it's also interesting because his birthday is my grandfather's, what I call his spiritual birthday. When those I have loved have taken their last breath, I call that their spiritual birthday. So I honor both their biological birthdays and their spiritual birthdays. And my grandfather, my paternal grandfather, Michele Di Maria, is who I was named after. And he was a very special man. He was very quiet and introverted and had come to this country when he was 20, lived here for 20 years and had a general store in Bangor, Maine, and then headed back to Italy when both of his parents passed away the same year to help marry off his 8 sisters. And when he went back to Italy, he had prepared and wanted to come back to the States, but was there for 20 years after the Great Depression and the Second World War, and then finally returned to America. I'm actually working on a screenplay of his life, 20 years in Italy, 20 years in the States, 20 years back in Italy, and then finishing the last part of his life here. And he passed away 47 years ago today. 47 years ago, 1973. I was 11 years old at the time. And it was the first funeral I ever went to. And there was something about Hugh Carter. We called him Pilgrim. Pilgrim was his medicine name, as we call it. More about that in another episode of what medicine names are, soul names, often given to you on a vision quest or a soul initiation. But Hugh had an extraordinary way of being present and looking you in the eyes like you were the only one that existed in the world at that moment. He had this deep well of love, and we had many deep, deep conversations. He was 88 when he transitioned, 2007, so he would be 101 today. God bless you, Hugh. And I want to honor him because in my book Moments, which Healing Poems for the Journey Home was my first book of poetry. The very last poem I wrote was to him. And as I've said, Musitations refer to all the muses, that creativity itself, when understood as a meditation on living and dying and this precious being that we are, just the gift of being conscious and the gift of being. And it can be hard when we're going through difficult times like we are and feeling isolated and alone. And yet, oftentimes, solitude and suffering bring us to our knees and open us to this fragile gift of life. That even in the darkest times, actually, we learn about a light that shines from within. So, this poem is called Pilgrims Glance, and it always reminds me of how I felt with Hugh and what it was like to look each other in the eyes. Pilgrim's Glance. We are fragile creatures born to be broken and to die. We are fragile creatures born to be broken and to die. What is it that brings us here to suffer? I do not know. But one thing I do. The walls standing between you and me quietly fall when we do not deny this brokenness, this vulnerability, this deep vulnerability that we are. Join me then in this dance of being and becoming, and let the masks fall. Let the masks fall. Let all the masks fall now before it's too late and I miss the chance to see you, to really see into you, and in so doing, find myself. And in so doing, find myself. Written for my soul friend and brother, Hugh Carter, Pilgrim, 1919 to 2007. A tireless pilgrim of love who practiced letting the walls quietly fall every moment of his life. I love you, Hugh. I love you, Michele Nono. Nono is the affectionate word for grandfather in Italian. And on this musitation, I just want to honor that we are here to become a flute. This particular flute made by Hawk and Jerry Littlejohn, and Hawk was an amazing man who taught me so much. The Cherokee call this the long human being because it is said that we are to be hollowed out so Creator can play us. And right now, we are being hollowed out. Many of us are being hollowed out. And I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's not without suffering and pain. And yet, there is something in the being hollowed out, being emptied of all that is not essential, that allows us to be played. When we give ourselves over, we surrender to that deep vulnerability that we are, that we do not deny the suffering, and we do not deny our aging, and we do not deny the fact that this gift ends in this physical body. Now, the mystery is just like the wind, and the wind that makes this wood sing brings a music that's so profound. I can say that my grandfather and Hugh and my dear precious mother have become more present to me through their physical absence. And as I said on the very first Musitations, the soul is music. And I mean this quite literally because although a song may not be playing. It can be heard again at any time. And our soul signature of who we are is like a song that can be played at any time. And I know it when I feel the song of my mother in my heart, or the song of Hugh, or the song of my grandfather. And it's like hearing a song you haven't heard in so long and you know it by heart. I know them by heart. I hope you will listen for the song of your soul, because it tells you who you really are, where it is you come from, where it is you're going, and what you're here to do. And when you follow the song of your heart, you will find the river of your life. And although it will have its twists and its turns, its rapids, it will also have its great beauty, its calm, beautiful stretches, its exhilaration and its joy, and its miraculous, mysterious merging with the ocean that it came from so long ago, when it became clouds and rain on the top of a mountain. And like my first CD says, the river, when it becomes the ocean. In that way, there is no death, only transformation. And it all happens with the breath. God bless you. Be well, be kind, be gentle to yourself, be patient. We'll get through this. God bless you, and I look forward to seeing you on the next Musitations. You've been listening to Musitations, sound healing and sound wisdom for a world in need, where we explore all things musical, meditative, and creative for healing, transformation, and awakening the soul. I've been your guide and host, Michael Brandt DeMaria. Feel free to check out my music on Pandora, Amazon Music, Spotify, XM Sirius Radio, or Soundscapes Cable. You can also check out my website at michaeldemaria.com, or online programs at alldaypeace.com, alldaypeace.com. Listen to your heart, follow your soul, and we'll see you on the next episode of Musitations.